WTCN-TV continuously strives to bring you the best possible television entertainment and information. WTCN-TV is owned and operated by WTCN Television Incorporated, a service of Metro Media Television. WTCN-TV operates by permission of the Federal Communications Commission on Channel 11. The transmitter is located at 960 West County Road F in Shoreview, Minnesota. Studios at 441 Boone Avenue North, Minneapolis. Now WTCN-TV continues its broadcasting service.
WTCN Television continues its broadcast service with an inspirational message. Inspiration for Living, supplied by one of several religious denominations. The series represents the religious diversity of the community that supports the strong and healthy continuance of the ideals of American society. The following message is an example of the presentations provided as a public service by the television industry and WTCN Television to serve spiritual concerns. Now, Inspiration for Living.
Loneliness. Nobody needs it. Everybody experiences it. All of us feel it, one time or another. But there is a cure for loneliness in the strength that families offer. There's a cure for loneliness in family values of love and helping. Remember, you're part of God's family. And you can find the strength of family values in your house of worship. Joining with other people, working with others, giving of yourself. Then you're not lonely. And there's also help for the problems you face. Remember, you're part of God's family. Find the strength of family values in your house of worship.
Welcome to What's New. My name is Nancy Nelson. If you are new to What's New because of our hour, of course, it's 5 o'clock in the morning now. For years, Warren Martin and Warren will be here soon. Right now, he's enjoying himself in Scandinavia. But for many years, Warren and I have sat here at 11:30 in the afternoon with an hour program that we've shared with the folks who are actually up that time of day. You are a new audience to us for the most part, up for work. Many of you, we understand, are people in rural areas, farmers. We will be doing some things that are oriented toward agriculture and our friends whose life is made in that endeavor. And we do have a lot of interesting people that we meet here on What's New. We share controversial things with you, hopefully, certainly entertaining things, and we're very excited because we are now a part of the NBC family. That means that our little tiny station, and it has been that, a very pleasant one, an independent station, has turned into a larger family, and we've kind of encompassed people from all over the country, most of them coming to our news department, because we now will have a very big news effort at 6 and 10 o'clock. We want you to be with us for that. One of the people who came in with a bang, I mean that literally, because she came in with these big brown eyes and captivated everyone, and everyone talks about how talented she is. And we want you to meet her today, one of our new news people, Jane Mitchell. Hi, Jane.
Well, thank you very much, Nancy. I appreciate you saying that. Of course,
it's
I have a lot to improve on.
No, well, we all improve, but it's true. I mean, people started right away saying, boy, she's really, ooh, you read very well, which is interesting because there are an awful lot of people who read news and an awful lot of them who don't read news well. Did you study a lot of people to decide what you thought worked and what didn't?
Not really. I have a naturally deep voice. I think that might help me out just a bit, although, of course, as I said before, I think I have a lot to improve on. But I'm always so interested and excited about what I'm reading, and I think it's so great to be able to be informing people that maybe I'm just naturally excited and that transmits itself.
It does, and that's good, because people then care about what you're doing. You're originally a New Yorker.
Yeah, I was born and raised in Manhattan.
Isn't that so? Do you miss it? Because once you've been a New Yorker, there isn't any other city that is as like that and vital as that.
Yeah, they say New Yorkers are the most provincial people in the world, and as a matter of fact, when I went down to Florida, because I was previously working in Florida for the past year and a half, my dad said to me, he said, don't be a typical New Yorker. Don't get down there and say that the world is New York and there's nothing else beyond that, because a lot of New Yorkers do that, and they alienate everyone around them immediately. And so I tried not to do that, and I think I succeeded, I don't know. But I think that there are a lot of fascinating things outside of New York. I miss New York, but I don't miss it half as much now that I'm in Minneapolis, because Minneapolis and New York have a lot of things in common, whereas Fort Myers and New York had less.
Minneapolis is interesting. Those of us who were born and raised here tend to think of it as a nice, friendly little town, because it has that atmosphere. People are friendly and pretty laid back and easygoing, and yet people who visit us tell us that it has a metropolitan excitement about it.
It does. It has a lot of the good things of New York without a lot of the bad things, which is interesting. It's sort of, in a sense, would be like taking some of the nicest aspects of New York and just compacting it to a great degree. I like it a lot. I'm having a little trouble with the roads because
we all do, Jane.
I'll see something over there that I want to get to.
Yes.
10 hours later, after I've been through Fort Snelling and I don't know how many other places, I'll get there. So the transportation thing is a problem
I see what you mean, getting on and off freeways.
Yeah,
and
I'm
all
not used to the freeways. In Florida, they have freeways, but being a very flat place, they're just like big roads. Here, there's all sorts of really intricate clover leaves that you've really got to memorize to get where you're going.
If you were born and raised in Manhattan, how come you don't talk like that? That's what everybody in Manhattan talks like.
Well, I don't know. Sometimes I talk like this, you know, like it depends.
Here we are. Did you work to get rid of it?
No, I never had a Brooklyn or let's say a New York accent.
I'm amazed you escaped it.
Yeah. My parents don't have accents at all, and most of my friends didn't. You find a lot of people, I don't know, some people develop a New York accent and others don't. I think it depends maybe on the people that you're going to school with a lot, because when you're in school, you usually tend at an early age to pick up accents of people around you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've shared a few things in common already in the couple of weeks you've been here. Having done the news on What's New when we were still at 11:30, you said to me one day, you must like animals because we have the dogs and things for adoption on often. And you too are an animal lover.
Yes, I am. I'm a vegetarian, not a strict vegetarian. I eat fish and shrimp, seafood, but I don't eat chicken or meat. And I am very much of an animal lover. I think that we really have to do something right now. I've been reading quite a bit about the vivisection industry and things like that. And of course, it's necessary, naturally, for people to consume meat in certain circumstances. That's my own personal choice. I don't like to be dogmatic about it and have dinner with people and say, well, why do you eat that and why do you eat this? I cannot stand doing that. But I personally just don't think it's necessary for my health. I haven't eaten meat for about 10 years, aside from one liverwurst sandwich that my doctor insisted that I eat, and I did not like it. So I've been doing very well without it, and I take a lot of vitamins, too, to compensate for it. I think so many vegetarians will adopt a vegetarian diet, and then they'll start eating junk food.
Yes, yeah.
Which I am somewhat...
prone to?
Well, I have to really watch myself. I like sweets, but now I'll have honey instead of sugar, or a bran muffin instead of a piece of pastry. And fruit instead of dessert. You know.
It's interesting. My husband and I have been vegetarians now for about 2 years, and what happens first is that you cut out meat. And then you find out you're missing all kinds of things. You have to educate yourself pretty carefully. You can't just do it. And it is also interesting when you said, I don't like to be dogmatic about it, because people think you're going to evangelize about it, whereas it really is just it's a personal choice.
Yes.
Sometimes a health commitment, sometimes a moral commitment, but I'm not evangelizing to anyone.
Right, absolutely. And, I notice a lot of times people will center the conversation around your vegetarianism at a dinner table, and it's so embarrassing because you really don't want to go into it. Just because you're going to have a salad or skip one portion of the main course, you're going to eat all the vegetables and everything else. Well, why'd you decide to become a vegetarian? You need that meat. And, and I always feel like I'm monopolizing the dinner table conversation and
talking about your eating habits.
And talking about my eating habits, while everybody else is wanting to get on another subject or whatever.
We're glad you came to Minnesota, but I would imagine, because you're young and you're talented, that you have a lot of plans. Are you a lady with goals set?
Yes,
places to be going?
I have a lot of goals, although I think that right now I've just achieved a goal by getting here, and so I have to work on this quite some time, I think. So I'm very happy with this, and I think a lot of my goals now center around not so much your formal career pursuit as much as perfecting what I have to do here in my work as far as reporting.
So that's a good opportunity, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a good place to learn. We may get under your skin. You may find like an awful lot of people who come because Minnesota is supposed to be a good stepping stone that you don't really want to leave. If we're very lucky, you'll stay with us a long time.
Well, I hope so. I would like very much to do that.
Welcome.
Great.
Welcome.
Thank you very much, Nancy.
Be happy here.
Okay, I will.
Good. We'll be right back. We have much more ahead on What's New. We're going to have a videotaped interview in a short time with Warren Martin and some man who's put together a book on science fiction art. It's really fascinating.
Guess what? It's Girl Scout cookie time again. Girl Scout cookies like Girl Scouts come in all shapes, sizes, and colors. Like chocolate chip, shortbread sugar cookies, chocolate mint cookies, cheddar cheese crackers, chocolate vanilla creams, and peanut butter creams.
To order your Girl Scout cookies by phone, call this number now.
If you believe in tomorrow, buy Girl Scout cookies today. Thank you! Now can we eat?
On Channel 11.
Clean beans, healthy beans, as far as you can see. That's the way you grow 'em now, 'cause Tollban sets you free. Tollban has the tolerance that lets you use it right. You're free to spray the rate you need, keep grasses out of sight. It's the grass control you've always wanted. Tollban tolerance sets you free.
About a year ago, we congratulated Kathy Korwicki because she was named Miss Wheelchair Minnesota. Now we're looking toward, my goodness, May you give up the crown. You keep the wheelchair.
Yep.
How are you? Have you had a good year?
Really good.
It's nice to see you again.
Thank you.
You've brought along today Sandy Gordon, and Sandy is a special program coordinator with Sister Kenny's Institute there, and of course the special work that Sister Kenny has done over the years, Sandy. And this Miss Wheelchair pageant is very special because not only does it allow people confined to wheelchairs this sort of outlet, but I think it brings to it the attention of those of us who are fortunate enough to walk something very unusual and unique about these people.
I hope so. The idea of the pageant is to show everybody, the general public, everyone around, that women in wheelchairs can accomplish a lot. Just how much a person is able to accomplish. And we're trying to make the public aware of the need to remove architectural barriers and especially the need to remove attitudinal barriers, because there are a lot of those around.
It's interesting you would say that because you seem to be a lady from our discussions who doesn't let a whole lot stop her, and yet there are a lot of things that are out of your control. Those architectural barriers, things that until you mentioned them to me almost a year ago, I never thought of. Being able to use a payphone, in many cases not even being able to push the buttons in an elevator. Are strides being made, not token strides, but significant strides in changing some of those things?
Yes, I've seen a lot of improvement in the last year because of the Section 504.
Which
They have
is?
the code. It's a section of the 1963 Rehabilitation Act, and they have to have, certain things have to be up to code and accessible.
Kathy, we've talked about it before, but perhaps our audience wasn't with us then. How did you come to be in a wheelchair?
I was in a car accident when I was 17, my senior year in high school.
And have been confined ever since? How long has that been?
Now everybody will know my age. 12 years.
Well, maybe they're not good at arithmetic. Hopefully it's early enough and the cobwebs are still there this morning. If I'm asking anything I shouldn't, tell me, because you don't have to answer it. Yeah, you don't have to answer it. All kinds of things come to mind at 17. At any age, any person who has had the opportunity to know the difference between walking and then not walking must go through tremendous shock. And there are people out there who may be going through that now. Is there anything anyone can say to help them?
It's really time and working through yourself. It's the same as, have you ever heard the 7 stages of death?
No.
Elizabeth Kubler-Ross has done a lot of work on death and the acceptance of death. Like, if you were to find out today you have cancer, incurable cancer, you would go through these stages of denial, of depression, of bargaining with God. I'll be the best person in the world if only I can walk.
Are we on the 3rd step?
I'm not sure if I'm in the right
Okay.
one. I'm not probably in chronological order. But there's all these stages until finally you come to acceptance, where you live one day at a time. I can live this. I know that I'm going to be in a wheelchair, but I don't like the word acceptance. I like the word adjust. I've adjusted to it. I'll never accept what's happened to me, never. But I've adjusted to it, and it doesn't bother me anymore. I don't let my chair get in the way.
Is it really possible? I mean, it sounds good to say my chair doesn't get in the way. Is that absolutely possible?
Well, no, I'm to the point, yes, where I was at 17, where there are times and there's modifications and things that I do, and you have to accept some of that stuff or you're just not going to make it. But I do everything I want to do now.
A movie that was so very popular and has received great accolades now as we see the Academy Awards coming out this year was Coming Home, starring John Voight. He played in it a paraplegic as a result of the Vietnam War. One of the things they dealt with in that film, and I recall him talking on the Carson show about it, receiving letters from people in wheelchairs, was their sexuality, the sexuality of a person confined to a wheelchair. And often we think when we see someone handicapped, as you might be, that of course that can't be a part of your life anymore. Is that something we impose upon you, the psychological barriers Sandy mentioned?
Mm-hmm. A lot of people assume that handicapped people are asexual and don't have any sex at all, where it's the same as everybody else. Not more so. And other people seem to think that we're sex maniacs, and that's all we think about, which may be true in some cases.
Not any more than the average
Right.
random choice of people. Sandy, we do want people to know that this Miss Wheelchair pageant will come about in May, and are we looking for entrants as well as
very much
viewers?
so. We're looking for contestants to come. Anybody that would like an application may call me. We're also looking for people to come to the pageant. It is free. It is open to the public. There will be live music. It will be at the St. Paul Radisson Hotel. Governor Quee will be there. And it is the kickoff for Handicapped Awareness Week in the state. And we would like as many people as possible to come.
There it is, 6:30, Saturday night, May 12th. The best part of it is that it's absolutely free. You can see the phone number there, 874-4825. If there's somebody sitting out there right now in a wheelchair thinking, that might be exciting, but I'd feel so dumb, what can you do to encourage them?
Oh, it's just an opportunity of a lifetime. It's just so much fun. If I wouldn't have won last year, I'd have entered again this year. It was just a tremendous experience. It's the whole weekend, the gala events, the dresses and the judging,
What
the
is the
experience.
competition? What kind of competition?
You're judged. There's 7 judges, and they ask all kinds of questions, and it's scary. Every one of us was
personality?
scared. Yeah.
That's the primary
But oh, the
portion of
self-confidence you gain from just that weekend. Everybody walked away with something they didn't possess when they came in. It was a tremendous weekend. I loved it. It was terrific. Even if I wouldn't have won, I'd still be saying this.
It's nice you came.
Thank
I'm so
you.
glad you're happy and doing well. You come see us again, won't you?
I will.
Kathy Korwicki, currently Miss Wheelchair Minnesota, gives up that crown in May, and you can see her give it up and see the replacement take over. Sandy, we hope many people call you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. Nice
Thank
to
you.
see you today. We'll be back in just a moment. Stay right where you are.
From the rising of the sun till the time that it goes down, the name of the Lord shall be praised.
Start your day with PTL at 6 a.m. on this channel.
Oh, the name of the Lord shall be praised. Yes, the name of the Lord shall be praised.
The Winter City Project, an activity of the Minneapolis Committee on Urban Environment, is concerned with making the Twin Cities more attractive and livable in the winter. Most pictures publicizing the Twin Cities contain pleasant summer scenes. However, as Minnesotans, we appreciate that nothing grows for one half of the year. Our grandfathers knew how to construct attractive buildings and plant landscaping that looks as attractive in the winter as it does in the summer. When you plant a tree this spring, think about evergreens. They maintain their beauty all year long and are a nice contrast with other native northern trees. Evergreens protect us from the winter wind, give us privacy, and create a beautiful contrast with the snow. If you paint your house this year, consider which colors look best in winter. Red, green, and yellow are considered warm colors and look good on the white robe of winter. For information on planting and maintenance of evergreens, write Bulletin Room, University of Minnesota, St. Paul 55108, and request a free booklet on evergreens, or call 373-1615.
I always used to dream of castles. Never thought I'd go anywhere. But look at me now. I'm in the army, seeing things I never thought I'd see. Working away, that's not too much to pay to bring my
one good way to see Europe is to enlist for it.
It's nice to have you with us this morning. We've already told you that this is a new time and a new place for What's New. And mostly, we would like to hear from you. You know, not having been here this early in the morning before, we don't even know how many of you are out there, how many of you are up. For goodness sakes, if there's something you'd like us to talk about, or even if you just want to drop us a note to let us know you're there, we'd like so much to hear from you. We're most anxious for the feedback as we now occupy this new position. And you know, we do have a live studio audience. We are not live at this moment, I can promise you. I'm somewhere in my bed right now resting, but we do videotape at 11:30 to 12:30 every morning, and we've always had a live studio audience. If you or your group or perhaps some of the kids from the school that you attend would like to be a part of our live studio audience, perhaps promote an upcoming event, we'd be happy to have you come in, watch the show live, give you the opportunity to promote your event, be on the air with us. And it's very simple. Just call us here. Usually the morning is the best, sometime between 9 and 11 here at WTCN-TV. Our phone number is very easy because we're channel 11, 546-1111. Give us a call, and you can come in and be a part of What's New and watch us live here in the studio. One of the ladies who's always been on What's New all of the 7 years that we've been on the air is still with us, Lana Mosa with Figure Fitness. Hi, Lana.
Hello. Lots of good letters coming in, and thank you very much. We've got a good letter from one of our regular viewers. Now, this might really relate to all of you out there. She says that she's been following our exercise program for a long time, and just when she was going to give up and decide that exercise didn't work, she started getting a lot of good compliments. People had remarked about how much weight she'd lost. Now, in all reality, she's not lost any weight at all, but she has tightened up and firmed up and actually changed the dimension of her muscles because of tone and, of course, better contour. So what appears to be a good weight loss is just merely a matter of re-proportioning. And, of course, she does ask if one can lose weight with exercise, and yes, one can, depending on how often you do it, and with the seriousness and the energeticness, and of course also what happens to the eating habits along the way. Even if you should not change your eating habits, you can lose weight, of course a minimum amount of weight, if you just expend more calories. That sounds like a good idea. Let's do it now. Let's warm up with some jogging in place. Let's go. In terms of results and really expanding energy, it also depends on how much energy you put into those exercises. And as you get going in a program, oftentimes you find yourself much more energetic because we are fueling the body with lots of fresh blood, fresh oxygen. All right, let's add a little hop. Now, our viewer here asked predominantly about good abdominal exercise, because although she's noticed a lot of good change in her legs and in her hips, still tends to have a little bit of the potty problem. So let's go right to the floor and share some good exercises with this viewer, as well as all of you out there. Lots of good exercises to do. Let's move right along into our first half sit-up. We keep the knees bent, the arms extended forward. We roll back. We come up about halfway. And at that point, we really tighten those abdominal muscles, hold them tight as we roll back. And again. And a slight hold. Keep them tight as you roll back. All right, now let's go right to the other exercise. Now that's just exactly right on the spine, so we have to lie all the way back. Here's a good exercise. We'll work more through the upper abdominal area as well as the lower area. The hands clasped behind the head. Let's first bend the left knee, and we reach up with the right elbow to touch, and we get a bit of a twist to touch the outer side of the knee. All right, and of course we repeat that same procedure. The right knee bends, the left elbow reaches up to touch the outer part of the knee, so we get a bit of a twist. And we'll roll back and we bring the opposite setup together. now those exercises are very, very compatible. So it's very good to do those as a set. And then go on to another good abdominal exercise, this time a little bit more advanced, and also we get the advantage of working the hips as well as the abdominals. All right, let's come back, but a little bit more on the hand. The legs are stretched forward, and to begin with, we begin just to roll from side to side on the hips. So far we've got just a bit of a hip and thigh exercise. All right, now to add to that and make it more abdominal as well as hip and thigh, let's brace back even further on the hands. We lift the legs off the floor and we're rolling from side to side. This is not intended to be one of your easier abdominal exercises, but of course we all need that challenge. Now use your hands as you roll from side to side and we push off. A great exercise, and if we can't do it now, at least we can work up to it. We'll see you next time on Figure Fitness. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Lana, so very much. We're going to be right back after this commercial, and it's not often we talk to you about the state wanting to give you money. It's true. If it's yours, they want to give it back. We'll be right here.
Hello, I'm Tom Brokaw, and not surprisingly, I think that today is an excellent way to start you off every weekday morning, Monday through Friday mornings at 7 here on the new NBC 11. Jane Pauley and Gene Shellin and I will be here along with Floyd Kelber and Bob Ryan with the news and weather. Plus, we'll have the rest of the Today team taking a look at a wide variety of subjects every Monday through Friday morning here on the new NBC 11, serving Minneapolis, St. Paul, the Twin Cities of Minnesota.
There is altogether too much forgetting these days.
Professor.
Please don't interrupt. Now, does anyone know how many taxpayers who itemize overlook important deductions every year? Well, I'll tell you, lots of them. Now, the IRS wants you to take every deduction that's coming to you, and still, people forget.
Excuse me, Professor.
I'm talking. Now, they forget to take off the cost of their working uniforms. They forget to deduct their union dues. They forget to include their mileage or their cab fares to and from the doctor as part of their deductible medical expense. It all adds up.
Please, Professor.
The fee for their safe deposit box, the cost of the physical exam if requested by their employer, legitimate deductions. It's in their tax instructions. So why do people forget to take them?
Professor, you've forgotten something.
I never forget anything.
Well, class was over half an hour ago.
Well, at least you got your money's worth.